Hi everyone, good morning. It's Coach Velia. I hope you are all doing well this lovely Tuesday morning. I wanted to jump on here and just say hello and catch up with everybody. It's been some time since I've been able to get on here live. It's been kind of hectic the past few weeks, so my apologies for that. But I'm really excited to share all the amazing things that are going on here at Person to Person Consulting. Hello. And wanted to jump on, talk a little bit about self-care and what's been going on here, what I've been observing in my own time with my self-care, and to share kind of tips and tricks and things that I've actually been observing the past few days here. So I started changing my lifestyle drastically a couple weeks ago, little by little. Normally I kind of just want to do everything in one shot, but it doesn't always work that way because I run out of fuel like the rest of us. So really important today, I got up, jumped up at 6 o'clock before I was struggling, dragging my feet to get out. And it's funny because when I didn't do it, I would get upset and say, why didn't you do it? You should have just done it, you know, and all that talk. So today I had a really good time just jumping up, had my stuff already ready to go, got into the car, took off, whatever. Thinking that I'm taking care of myself and taking my time, I put my stuff in the locker, go back, and I'm sitting at this machine and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to put the lock on my locker. So I run back and the lock is still there. So a lady's sitting there and I'm just kind of shaking my head. I said, I'm losing my mind. And she made a comment. She goes, honey, aren't we all? So it kind of brought so much to my attention. And when I started thinking about how rushed we are, how we're going through this life so quickly, and many of us aren't giving ourselves the time to just slow down. We think that by doing things so quickly, we're going to get so much done. But many times what ends up happening is we have to do things over again, or we're constantly double checking to make sure we did things right. So I want to encourage you guys to slow down. And I know that it's a lot easier said than done, but I want to talk a little bit about what I've observed in the past few days. And like you guys know me, I like to kind of just sit and watch people. And it's very interesting to me how we're all pretty much struggling with the same things, or we all pretty much have similar thought process that happen throughout the day. What was very interesting is when I found that I had left, or I thought I left my locker unlocked, I ran and I started thinking about all the things that could have happened. Oh my gosh, my phone's in there, my purse is in there. And I just kept thinking of all the things could have gone wrong. And the minute I got to the locker, I said, stop. Don't worry about it. Don't start inventing stories in your head, because sometimes they happen to come true. Most of the time they do. So we have to be very careful with the negativity that just jumps into our mind. So it was a really quick thing. Within seconds, I thought about all the 10,000 things that could have gone wrong by me not locking my locker. So I share that with you, not because I want you guys to emphasize, oh yeah, it's a locker. It's more of what happens to us when we're going about our business throughout the day and something happens where we screwed up, or we didn't do something right, or something came back and bit us, right? And we start thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm so this, and a lot of negative self-talk starts in that period as well. I don't know if you guys can relate, but that happens to a lot of us, where we start thinking about all the bad things that can happen. I have a lot of people who, oh my gosh, in October, they're thinking about stuff that's gonna happen in October, that's gonna happen next week, and they're not even there yet. So they're so worried about what's happening next week or next month that they're not really enjoying the moment that they're living in that particular time. So great, met an awesome lady today because I thought I actually did not lock my locker. So she's going to be an amazing person to talk to, willing to share a smile. We kind of chatted for a little bit, and she's, again, going to be a very interesting person. So I'm kind of glad that I thought I had not locked my locker. So so all this stuff happens. I ended up forgetting my water in the car. A bunch of things happened. I got in the sauna and I met these really interesting ladies as well. They were talking about their joint pain, all the pains that they were experiencing in their life. So I thought it was pretty interesting how there's a group of people who meet all the time, and they talk about all their aches and pains, their physical as well as emotional pains in the sauna. And there's times where I want to say something and there's times where I don't say anything at all. But I'm hoping that the door's open for an opportunity to speak. A lot of emotional trauma, a lot of physical trauma, and people talk about it very freely. And I guess in a way it's liberating, but it's also very interesting. A couple days ago, I had posted something that says a very difficult thing to do in life is to know that somebody's hurt, they have trauma, they have issues, And I know that there's so many things that we can do to help them, but the hardest thing to do is to let them go when they would not know how to feel after they've healed. So let me explain that a little bit. There's a lot of people who have a lot of issues, emotional issues, physical issues, and that's their story. They talk about it. They share it in a sauna. They talk about it with friends, and they say they want to get better, but when there's an opportunity to get better, they shy away from the possibility of happening. I don't think they do this consciously. I really do think it's a subconscious thing where it's been a lifestyle for a very large part of their life, very long time of their life, and they've learned to have an identity around it. So a lot of people, when they've come to try to get healed or they try to do different things, the thought of healing, it's a good idea, but they are afraid of losing their identity because they've been sick for so long or they've had so many ailments for so long. So who would they be if they didn't have it anymore? What type of conversations would they have? And that's something that's very hard to accept. And for me, wanting to help people to better themselves, to really do dig deep and find the best versions of themselves, sometimes I have to just let go and let them be. It's not their time. They're not ready. And quite possibly there's a lot of people who just don't want to heal. And again, it's not a conscious thing. It's very much a state of being. Somehow they've been there for so long that it's a very difficult thing to release. And I know that within time, I'm hoping that they will find somebody that will help them process everything, because identity is not who you are after trauma or after hurt or after pain. Yes, for many of us, it makes us stronger, but identity is who we were born to be, who we were actually supposed to be before everybody told us who we were supposed to be, right? Our own identity. So that's what we like to do, is to help people kind of dig deep and find out who they really are. This morning when I was talking to that lady, she said, I have to hurry up. I have to go to work. I'm going to be late. She goes, are you going to be late? I said, no, I opened my office at around 9 and I'm kind of just hanging out. So I'm not running late. And she said this morning she couldn't get out of bed because of her negative thoughts. And mind you, she didn't know what I did till later, because when I told her I had lost my mind, I was losing my mind. She said, oh, honey, a mind's, it happens to the best of us or whatever. And I started thinking, yeah, but I train people on, strengthening your mind and doing a bunch of stuff, which is a lovely reminder for me, you guys, because when I screw up, it helps me empathize so much more. And this is what I love about what I do. Like, I don't sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, I've got it all together. And I never have negative thoughts. So when things happen to me like that, it's really neat, because at first it's of course frustrating because I'm human, but then I sit down and I laugh and I'm like, this is what we're all going through. So it's neat when you can empathize with somebody, but it's even better when you can show somebody how to get out of the negative thoughts and the negative self-talk. So she said she was having a really hard time getting out of bed this morning, that she was struggling, that her sister had to give her a pep talk. So it was neat that she said she had somebody to help her, to call her, to say everything's going to be fine, we're going to be good, whatever. And that helped her get out of bed this morning. So I'm thinking how amazing it is to have somebody there, and even more so to help to learn how to train yourself to be your cheerleader and to be, the one that's always giving you the pep talk, because a lot of us need to know how to do that. And with, different techniques and different trainings that we do, those are the type of things that you do every morning. You just kind of all of a sudden think differently. Now, I tell people we can't control the negative thoughts that come in, but we can control how long they stay there. But how amazing is it to know that once you've learned to kind of flip the script and do more positivity than negative, what ends up happening is all of a sudden you notice that you don't really have a lot of negative thoughts come in. There isn't really a lot of negative self-talk. Why? Because you've been there, done that, learned the different way to do it that's more productive, and somehow that's what's being invited to come in. So all of a sudden your thoughts are very different. You notice that you're more productive, you're not really beating yourself up and all that good stuff. I want to kind of give a shout out to all the educators out there and all the bus drivers that are going back to work, all the school aides, everybody who's helping keep our kids educated and safe. I know it's not easy, but I know you guys are getting ready to go back to work this week and next week. So I want to send you guys a whole bunch of love and encouragement and tell you guys to stay strong, to take it one day at a time. I know a lot of people are complaining about going back to work, and of course that's natural because it's been the summer and it's been nice and I have to get up and work with 30-40 kids each period. So I want to encourage you guys to be grateful for the jobs that you have. You guys play a huge role, and in these kids' lives. And I know sometimes it seems like your work goes unnoticed, but I want to share with you that there's a lot of parents that get caught up, as you know, because a lot of you educators are parents as well. We get so caught up in our world and we're rushing around that sometimes we don't take time to really be mindful and to really show gratitude for those people around us. So right now everybody's kind of going back to school, going back to work. Teachers are, getting their classrooms ready, cleaning, getting the supplies, spending a lot of money out of their pockets. Parents, you're out there, getting your kids school clothes, doing a bunch of stuff, getting them ready. And I want to highly encourage you guys to really pour into your kids to help them to learn to have confidence in themselves, to really believe in themselves, because it's exciting when they go back to school and everybody's kind of involved. What teacher did you get? What schedule did you get? And all that good stuff. But notice after a few weeks, it kind of wears off and nobody's really excited anymore, and it kind of just drags. So I want to encourage you families to sit down with your kids at least once a week and say, hey, how's school going? Who are you sitting with at lunch? What are you eating at lunch? What type of homework did you get for second period, or what events are coming up? Because when you ask them things like, how was your day? They just say, fine, good, okay, and boring, right? But if you're asking more interesting questions like, hey, who did you sit with? What did you eat? Again, what events coming up and things of that nature, you kind of force conversation out of them. So let's be a little more intentional about how we're talking to our kids. And also check in with your teachers. A lot of those need a lot of support. They have administrative pressure, they have academic pressure, they have to constantly be testing the kids. So there's so much involved in the educator's life. And they're also mom and dads, right? They're also daughters and uncles and everything else. So there's a whole bunch that comes with these educators trying to, get up every morning to take care of these kids, right? That sometimes aren't very respectful. And sometimes they get kind of lost in the cracks. They fall through the cracks. So there's a whole bunch of that going on. So just like you're motivated about sending them back to school, again, getting them the new school supplies and the shoes and everything, make sure you're also investing time in your kids. But don't forget about yourself, because sometimes we're running around like chicks with our head cuts off and we forget to take care of ourselves. So self-care is huge. It's very important. And self-care doesn't mean going out getting a mani-pedi all the time and doing your hair and things of that nature, but really sitting down with yourself and just breathing, sitting down, really think about, where your life is going and what you're grateful for in your life. Because something happens when you wake up every morning, you take a deep breath, and you think about 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for every morning. And I tell you, it sets the tone. A lot of times we forget to do that. A lot of times there's complaining and there's bickering. Much of it is unintentional. I get it, because life happens and we're running around. But I really think that when you sit down every morning, and I can tell you, when I sit down every morning, take a deep breath, kind of just look around, then I close my eyes and I think about 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for every morning. And it sets the tone for the rest of my day. And I can tell you that there's times where I have forgotten, and my life in that day is very different. So kind of play with it, see how it works. I would highly encourage you to do that so you can be a great role model to your kids. Going to bed at night is also a good time to say, hey, you know what? I'm so grateful that this happened today. And every day is a learning experience. We're here to live this life. We're here to really understand a little more about how to adapt to different environments, different people, different way of thinking. And we're going to get a lot of that going back to the schools. Some kids are going to junior high. They're terrified. Some are going to high school. And as moms and dads and aunts and uncles, we're kind of out there trying to help, going to work, taking care of our thing. But right now is a huge change for a lot of those kids that are remembering what happened last year and very fearful about what's going to happen this year. So I strongly encourage you to be very calm and serene in yourself so your kids are able to approach you. Because a lot of times what I've experienced in working with families is that when I work with kids and I ask them, have you talked to your mom or dad about this, or anybody, an aunt or uncle, they say, no, they're too busy, or they have a lot going on, or I don't want to worry them more, or we have financial issues, or there is no time. And that's kind of what I hear more from the kids, where they do want to talk to somebody, but they see that the parent or whoever they can possibly talk to is so busy that they don't want to be a burden on those people. So don't miss an opportunity to be there for somebody who is really looking for somebody to just listen to them. And we may not have all the answers all the time, but when we make ourselves available, ready, and willing to pour into our kids, our family members, our friends and family, our neighbors, our co-workers, there's something that comes with somebody just being present. And I get that we all have things going on, but again, tomorrow's never promised to anybody. So I want to really encourage you guys to live today as if it was your last day. Live today with full intention. Be very intentional about what you're going to do throughout the day. Yes, we can make plans and sometimes they don't work out, but you have a starting point. You have an idea, and you're not like in the ocean just waiting for the waves to take you wherever they have to go. So be positive, have a smile on your face. You'll be surprised how much a smile can do for you. Really want to encourage for those of you that have jobs to be very grateful for the opportunities that you have. I know sometimes it's very stressful. Take some time out to really think about what you like about the job, what it is that you like doing there. Why is it that you apply to that place to begin with? What was your interview like? What were the thoughts that were going on when you thought maybe you weren't going to get the job? And I find that sometimes really helps people reflect on, you know what, I really wanted this job. I sat and I went to this interview and I got all dressed up and I was so nervous, and then I got the job and I was so excited, you know. But we kind of lose that excitement because of things that happen. So I want to also encourage you guys to not expect anybody else to make you happy, to not expect anybody else to make your life what you want it to be, because sometimes we put too much responsibility on other people when we're the ones that have to look deep inside to find out what it is that makes us happy. So whether it's a job, whether it's school, whether it's starting a new family, whatever it is in life, stop and really reflect on your life. Give yourself a couple of minutes. Think about 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. And I always want to encourage you to think about 1 or 2 things that you could do differently to help you become more grateful. So thanks so much for watching. I just wanted to jump on here and say hello to everybody. For those of you that are going to watch this later, please comment. Let me know what you guys are doing. How can we send out loving energy to you? What can we do to help support you? What type of themes do you guys want to talk about? I know stress is huge. So that I talk about stress, I said I'd love to talk about stress, so many different areas in stress, but I want you to know that you have the ability to heal yourself. I know that a lot of you don't hear that, but you definitely are an amazing creation. You have so many talents, so many gifts, but sometimes with the world happening, this is like a blindfold that's put over our eyes, and we forget to really tap into our strengths and our talents. So if you're having trouble uncovering what they are, if you just need somebody to listen to, if you need somebody to really help encourage you and help you blossom, I'm here. I'm going to be starting meetups here in the city of Victorville. For those of you that are local, I'm going to be opening up the office for a meetup. We might be meeting once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on the schedules and how my crazy schedule is working. But I want to invite you guys to come for meetups where we can kind of just hang out, talk a little more about empowering things and how you can really tap into your own heart's energy to really heal your heart, heal your mind, heal your thoughts, and heal your body, because a lot of physical ailments that people are talking about are due to emotional blocks that are trapped in their body. And we talked about healing, we talk about trauma. I work with a lot of clients who have PTSD, that they just have negative memories, or for some reason have something they're just stuck with and they just can't get over that hump. So you'd be surprised what you can do once you learn how to think differently, believe differently, and ultimately live differently. So thanks again so much for watching, guys. If this information has been valuable, please share it with other people. Invite them to come on the page. I did want to go on YouTube. I'm having technical difficulties with my YouTube, with my desktop for some reason, but we'll be up there soon. But I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys need help with, and we'll definitely have a chance to collaborate and bring some more stuff to you guys. Thanks so much again. Have yourself an amazing day, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.